morning, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Leadership Void. I am Vince Loran, flying solo today, but we are excited of our dynamic lineup. Today, we are on our national tour speaking with Jean Ibañez Payne, founder and CEO of TI Verbatim Consulting, located in West Virginia. So, welcome, Jean. So, first, let's just start off and just tell us a little bit about you.
Well, thank you so much for having me today on the show, and it's such a privilege. And thank you for considering me. About Jean Ibañez Payne, I was born in the U.S. And I lived in Colombia, South America, for 15 years. Military Navy veteran, go Navy, hoo-hoo. And after that, I spent 15 years in the energy industry working for a couple of utilities. And fast forward to that, I started a company back in 2014, and I have had the privilege of leading the company as of 2014. So that's just in a nutshell. I have, let's see, I'm married to another military veteran and a beautiful boy, 10 years old.
Oh, that's just amazing. From your 15-year stint in Colombia to the Navy and starting your company in 2014. Very excited to know more about TI Verbatim Consulting. So, can you share a little bit about that?
Yes, yes. TI Verbatim Consulting, I started the company back in 2014 after working 15 years in the corporate environment. Basically, it was a company, as you can tell with the verbatim, name of the company, that we started the company kind of like as a language translation interpretation company. And that has morphed into kind of like my passion, which is culture assessments. And that has been kind of what we have been doing, culture assessments and language translation interpretation and staffing. And for us, our mission really is to help people work better together to improve cultures and to have a better work environment.
Oh, absolutely. Culture is important. It does take a long time to change a culture in any organization. So tell me, how is TI Verbatim Consulting holding up since the pandemic, and what are you all currently doing?
Vince, it has been such a difficult, situation for, our country. And it has been so difficult for many, many of us. I know that um, either a family or a friend that we know has lost somebody to COVID. So it has definitely been a tragic, situation for our country. And, in regards to our company, before COVID, we were operating in a way that it has not impacted our company. Our company has actually grown, this year, and our big focus for us as a company has been taking care of our employees and our customers. And our customers have been fantastic with teleworking, allowing people the time that they need to have to take care of their families, but also having the ability to work from home. So we have, from that aspect, our employees have been operating really the same way they were before the pandemic. Yes, definitely, it has been challenging, but also it has given us an opportunity to think differently.
Oh, that's great to hear. You're being very diverse in what you're doing and in our current situation. And so, what is on the horizon for TI Verbatim Consulting?
Well, for us as a company, like I said, our big focus is staying true to our mission, which is helping people work better together. As a company, we are embarking on doing cultural assessment in the corporate environment. We have had a lot of focus in the government space. So for us is to continue to grow in the DEI arena, because I feel that is needed in our country, right? Increasing diversity in our workforce, to creating more more equity, to having more inclusion. So for us, in my background and DEI, I want to continue to grow that because it's true needed.
I totally agree. You know, I confess Air Force retired, but I did go through DIOMI, Defense Equal Opportunity Management Institute, and became a diversity inclusion technician superintendent in the military. So I totally agree that was needed then and is totally really needed now. So I commend and applaud you for what you're doing with your company and looking forward to what's in the future. So let's transition now, talk a little bit about the woman that I'm seeing in front of me, the Navy individual, and from Colombia, or lived in Colombia 15 years. Professional development. Since this is the leadership board, what professional development areas do you work on to improve your capabilities as a leader?
You know, as a leader, for me, it's so important to have three things. There's a courageous culture, creating a courageous culture where we feel that we can speak up. And I like, for me as a leader, is to be able to relate to the people that I work with. I truly, when people talk about companies, they're like my employees. I have colleagues. We look at our workforce as colleagues. So for me, is psychological safety, servant leadership, and courageous culture. Those are the three things that I'm constantly working on, as a professional, because it's important to model that behavior so you can create that environment.
That's totally, I agree with that. You know, servant leadership, having courageous culture, folks to be able to be at the table and speak and have their voices heard. I agree with that. What advice, as you were emerging as a leader, you would like to share with other leaders that you can give those tips to? What advice would you give emerging leaders today?
I think modeling the behavior that you want your employees to have. And sometimes I don't think we realize that our actions and our words as leaders matter. So I would say for any upcoming leader is that you have to model the behavior that you want people to have in the work environment. Whether, if I if I'm sitting here and I'm telling you that I want to create psychological safety, you have to be able to walk the talk, right? I can't just be, well, so and so, Vince, I didn't like what you said because XYZ. No, it's really modeling the behavior that you want to see.
Definitely is important to walk the, walk that talk because you have a huge bullseye on our backs, especially CEOs and founders and C-suite executives. So model the behavior, great advice for those. Now, when it comes to challenges, because there's always challenges in leadership and challenges we all face as human beings, how do you face challenges or that you face or currently facing?
Again, I think you always have to remember where you came from, right? You always have to remember the mistakes that you made as a professional to get to where you are. And I look at as when people talk about mistakes in the workplace and feeling bad that I made a mistake, I look at that as an investment, right? Because if you don't make mistakes, you don't learn, but you have to learn from those mistakes. So my biggest thing is have a plan, have a strategy, execute the plan, and be able to defend the decision, right? When something goes wrong, be able to defend the decision as to this is why I did it, and this was my thought process. So for me, is definitely empowering employees to make decisions, but not crucify them when they do, right? Because that's an opportunity to I like to empower and to let people learn with their actions and their mistakes.
Empower is huge, and it seems like you definitely walk the talk. So I hear you, and I speaking of that, now as the founder and CEO of TI Verbatim Consulting, how do you deal with or implement strategies to deal with change in your organization or cultures in companies?
Well, with anything that we do, I always go back to the Lean Six Sigma training that I received, the change management training, and there has to be a deliberate approach for any change, and you have to be ready for change, right? Um, when people come to me and say, well, we would like to do a culture assessment, well, are you ready for us to get intimate with you? And what I mean by that is, are you ready for us to come in and ask the crucial questions, have the crucial conversations, analyze your process, analyze your policies, conduct a qualitative and quantitative analysis? And are you ready for that profile, right? What's going to be the aftermath? What are the findings? And then what's the call to actions? And having a champion. So for any work that I do, in any project that I do, I'm always looking at, you got to have a project plan in place. You have to have a strategic action plan. You have to have a change management, and you have to have a champion. And if you can put all that together, that will be the recipe for success for any action.
Definitely being true, your authentic self has to be, put to the test and to on the table because that's what you want them to really divulge. Because if they don't, then change is not going to happen. So I definitely great strategies there. I thank you for that. So if folks listening in our audience, how will they able to contact either you or TI Verbatim Consulting?
Anybody that needs to get in contact with TI Verbatim Consulting, they can either email at info@tiverbatim.com, or they can go to our website, which is www.tiverbatim.com. Or you're not going to believe this, but the phone number that is on the website, even having 70 employees operating across 10 plus states, I still have my cell phone on the website, and I still take the phone calls from anybody that calls. So that's 540-656-7425.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it first from the founder and CEO. She is still reaching out telephonically, old school, but the best method ever. But you can reach out through email, which we'll post on our link on the bottom of this show. And for those who would like to reach out to the Leadership Void, it is the Leadership Void at gmail.com. Enrique and I are here to answer your questions. If you have any leadership topics you'd like us to discuss or like us to display any of your swag, we wear our Leadership Void t-shirts, but we will love and honor your companies as well or organizations. And also we do the leadership, addition to the Leadership Void, we do radio checks on the 1st and the 15th of every month at 7 p.m., which is 1900 hours. Just an opportunity to check in with those out there. And as we continue our national tour, we come back to our backyard here in Florida next week and speak with another dynamic veteran that's they're dealing and working in a nonprofit sector. So stay tuned for every Wednesday morning out there. But for today, we have the founder CEO of TI Verbatim Consulting, Jean Ibañez Payne. We thank you for your time away from your busy schedule to just capture a little bit about what you're all doing and your leadership style. So thank you.
Thank you so much for having TI Verbatim Consulting, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to meet you.
Awesome. Have a great one.
Thank you.